Hey everyone, welcome back. We're taking a deep dive today into the mind of Warren Buffett.
Oh, yeah, the Oracle of Omaha.
Exactly. We've got his letters to Berkshire Hathaway shareholders, all sorts of writings, interviews.
It's amazing how much wisdom this guy has shared over the years.
It really is. And you know what strikes me? He doesn't try to sound like some financial wizard.
Yeah, he keeps things pretty down to earth.
He does, and that's what makes him so approachable, even if you're not a Wall Street guru.
Right, you don't need a finance degree to understand his core principles.
Like value investing. I kept seeing that term pop up everywhere.
Yeah, that's his bread and butter.
But what does it actually mean? Is it just about finding cheap stocks?
Well, imagine you're at a flea market, right? And you spot a beautiful antique lamp
Okay.
hidden among a pile of junk. Everyone else is just seeing clutter,
Uh-huh.
but you see the potential.
I see.
That's kind of what Buffett does with businesses.
He looks for those hidden gems.
Exactly, the undervalued companies that the market has overlooked.
So it's not about chasing the latest trends or getting caught up in the hype.
No, it's about finding those diamonds in the rough.
Makes sense. But he doesn't just buy any cheap stock, does he?
No. For Buffett, it's about understanding the underlying business.
So he really digs deep.
He wants to know if it has a solid foundation, what he calls a durable competitive advantage.
Like a moat around a castle.
Haha, exactly. He wants to see companies with strong brands, loyal customers.
A business model that's hard to replicate.
Think of companies like Coca-Cola or Geico. They have that moat.
Right, those are classic Buffett holdings. But the market can be so volatile.
Oh, tell me about it.
How does someone like Buffett with his long-term perspective deal with all that noise?
That's where his famous concept of Mr. Market comes in.
Mr. Market.
Yeah, he personifies the market as this fickle character who's always offering to buy or sell stocks, often at crazy prices.
Driven by fear and greed.
You got it. But here's the key. You don't have to play Mr. Market's game.
So we don't have to be slaves to his whims?
Exactly. You can choose to ignore his emotional swings and wait for the right opportunities.
So don't panic when the market dips.
And don't rush to buy when everyone's euphoric.
Got it. He has that famous quote about fear and greed, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. Be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful.
Powerful stuff. It reminds me of something else I came across, The Super Investors of Graham and Doddsville.
Ah, yes. That article is a classic.
It's about a group of investors, including Buffett himself, who all achieved incredible success.
Right. Using a value-oriented approach.
What's fascinating is they all came to this approach independently,
It wasn't about copying each other's moves. It was about applying those core principles.
buying undervalued businesses.
Exactly, and holding them for the long haul.
They all understood that was the key.
And they came from all sorts of backgrounds, too.
Yeah, one of them, Walter Schloss, didn't even have a college degree.
Right, but he still managed to outperform most professional investors.
Like they cracked a code to the market.
And they all did it independently.
It really highlights the power of having a solid investment philosophy.
And sticking to it even when the market throws you curveballs.
This is just the beginning, though, right?
Oh yeah, we've only scratched the surface of Buffett's wisdom.
Well, I'm definitely hooked. Let's dive deeper into his world in the next part.
Sounds good, I'm ready when you are.
Okay, so we've talked about Buffett's investment philosophy.
Right, his approach to picking stocks.
But I'm curious about how he actually builds and runs the businesses.
Yeah, he's not just an investor, he's a business builder too.
Exactly, and it seems like he has a very unique perspective.
Well, one thing that stands out is his long-term vision.
Okay.
He's not chasing quick wins or quarterly earnings reports.
Right, he's in it for the long haul.
He talks about building enduring businesses, what he calls fortress-like businesses.
Fortress-like, I love that imagery.
Yeah, like building a castle designed to withstand any siege.
How does that translate into actual business strategies?
Well, he uses this metaphor of widening the moat.
The moat?
Yeah, imagine a castle with a wide, deep moat.
Hard to get through.
Exactly. It's much harder for enemies to penetrate.
So in business, the moat represents the company's competitive advantages,
You got it. It's about making those advantages stronger.
making it harder for competitors to catch up
Right, and he talks about making smart, incremental improvements day after day
year after year,
to strengthen the business, and a key part of that is focusing on intrinsic value.
not just short-term profits.
Exactly. He's very critical of this whole quarterly earnings mindset.
So many companies are obsessed with those numbers.
He believes that focusing too much on short-term earnings can lead to bad decisions.
Decisions that might hurt the business in the long run.
Exactly. It's like sacrificing long-term health for a quick sugar rush.
I see. And he points to certain industries as examples, right?
Yeah, like airlines and automobiles where companies often make short-sighted decisions.
Chasing market share, trying to boost profits quickly.
But they often end up facing bigger problems down the road.
Okay, so let's talk about acquisitions because Buffett's approach is fascinating.
Oh yeah, he does things very differently from most investors.
He flicks the script completely, doesn't he?
He doesn't go out hunting for companies to buy.
He waits for them to come to him?
Exactly. No fancy presentations or high-priced consultants.
No dog and pony show?
He prefers to deal directly with the owners and evaluate the business based on its intrinsic worth.
Not on some elaborate spreadsheet,
He once said that reading a typical deal book is like reading Superman comics.
meaning there's a lot of fantasy involved.
Exactly. He wants to see the reality of the business.
And just as importantly, he looks for a cultural fit.
He wants to acquire businesses with managers who are passionate and share his values.
People he can trust.
Like the story of how he acquired the Nebraska Furniture Mart.
Oh yeah, that's a classic Buffett story.
He basically bought the entire business on a handshake.
Based on his trust in the owner, Mrs. B.
It's a testament to the power of trust and integrity in business.
But after he acquires a company, does he come in and shake things up?
Surprisingly, no, he takes a very hands-off approach.
Really? You'd think someone who's built such a massive empire would be more controlling,
It goes against conventional wisdom, but he believes in empowering his managers.
giving them the freedom to run their businesses.
He focuses on acquiring businesses that are already well-run.
And then he lets the existing management teams continue to lead.
He trusts them to do what they do best.
It speaks volumes about the culture at Berkshire Hathaway.
A culture of ownership and accountability.
His managers think like owners.
They have skin in the game, literally and figuratively.
And the board of directors at Berkshire Hathaway also has significant personal stakes, right?
Absolutely. Buffett insists on it. He calls it owner capitalism.
Aligning their interests with the shareholders.
It's about making decisions as if it were your own money on the line.
Makes sense. And there's no executive perks at Berkshire either.
Nope, no golden parachutes or fancy company cars.
Wow, that's pretty rare these days.
Buffett believes those things create a sense of entitlement,
He wants everyone to be fully accountable for their decisions.
both good and bad.
It's a refreshing approach for sure.
But there's another dimension to Buffett's success that we haven't touched on yet.
Oh, I'm all ears.
His insights on leadership are just as profound as his views on investing in business.
Okay, let's explore those in the next part then. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground with Warren Buffett.
Yeah, his investment philosophy, his approach to business.
But now I want to talk about something maybe even more important.
Okay, what's that?
His insights on leadership.
Yes, this is where his character really shines through.
He seems to have a very strong moral compass
He does. His leadership style is rooted in integrity and humility.
and a genuine desire to do the right thing.
Not just what's easy or profitable.
It's easy to talk about integrity, but Buffett actually walks the walk.
Right, he doesn't just talk the talk.
The way he handled the Salomon Inc. crisis is a prime example.
Oh yeah, that was a defining moment for him.
A major investment bank owned by Berkshire Hathaway got caught up in a trading scandal.
A big mess.
And Buffett didn't shy away from it. He stepped in as chairman.
Extra.
He didn't try to sweep it under the rug or blame others.
He took responsibility.
He cleaned house and instilled a new culture of compliance.
It was a masterclass in ethical leadership.
And this commitment to doing the right thing shows up everywhere in his business.
Like with Mrs. Bede and the Nebraska Furniture Mart.
That handshake deal, he bought a multi-million-dollar business on trust.
He valued her word more than audited financials.
Incredible.
It shows you how much he values integrity.
Trust is paramount for him.
It's more important than any spreadsheet or financial metric.
And he also emphasizes learning from mistakes, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely. He's very open about his own blunders.
And he encourages his managers to do the same.
He wants them to own up to their mistakes and learn from them.
He uses that golf analogy to make the point.
Yeah, the golf
A
scorecard.
golfer shoots a terrible round like a 140.
But instead of accepting that score, he decides to restructure his game.
He only counts his good holes from then on.
So his scorecard looks amazing, but it's a complete distortion.
He's manipulating the numbers to hide his bad shots,
Just like some companies manipulate their earnings.
to make themselves look better.
Buffett hates that he wants to see the real scorecard warts and all.
Transparency and honesty, that's what he values.
In business and in life.
It's refreshing to hear that kind of perspective.
Especially in today's world.
All this talk about integrity reminds me of something else.
What's that?
Buffett's emphasis on passion.
Oh yeah, he believes that finding work you love is crucial.
He tells young people to find a job they're passionate about.
And work with people they admire.
He says the best investment you can make is in yourself.
Developing your talents, pursuing your passions.
He even compares it to choosing the only car you'll ever own.
You'd take really good care of it, wouldn't you?
Of course you'd want to keep it running smoothly.
Buffett says we should treat our minds and bodies the same way.
Invest in them, nurture them.
It's about finding that intersection of your talents and passions.
And he's a great example of that himself, right?
Absolutely. He found his passion through his father's investment books.
And he's built an incredible career doing what he loves.
And let's not forget his philanthropy.
Yeah, his generosity is truly inspiring.
He's giving away most of his wealth to charity.
It shows you what kind of person he is.
Success without purpose is meaningless.
Okay, so we've talked about integrity, humility, passion.
And learning from mistakes.
But there's one more quality that really stands out to me.
What's that?
His commitment to lifelong learning.
Ah, yes, Buffett is a voracious reader.
He spends hours every day reading annual reports, newspapers, books.
He believes that knowledge is power.
He once said, "I just sit in my office and read all day."
And his track record speaks for itself.
It shows you the power of continuous learning.
There's always something new to discover.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the mind of Warren Buffett,
What are your biggest takeaways?
for me, it's his unwavering commitment to ethical conduct.
Yeah, that's huge.
Success without integrity is meaningless.
It's about building something you can be proud of.
Something that makes a positive difference in the world.
Buffett's legacy is about much more than money.
It's about leaving the world a better place.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the wisdom of Warren Buffett.
We hope you found it as insightful as we did.
Until next time.